sacred space. Common because we are all welcome. Sacred because here we come from the ordinary to the profound. We carry with us our regrets, stories, and laughter. May they inspire the worship. Above all, may we meet what we need most to find a stay in this common sacred space. And now I would like to invite little Ricky Johnson up to light the chalice for us. All right. Good job, Rick.
Where I drop with them.
Yeah. Words the good chalice lighting. As with this flame, we come to begin again with greater awareness, deeper connection, and more love for ourselves, for one another, and for all of life.
Good morning. If you would rise in body or spirit and sing along with Julie and Jennifer and me. It's page 21 if you have the great hymnal. If not, fake. For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of here and I, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
People's Church is a community that supports one another in both good times and hard times. One of the ways we do this is by taking time during the service to share joys, sorrows, and other milestones in our lives. If you wish to share something with our community, please come forward, place a stone in a bowl of water, speak briefly, and tell us your name. If you're on Zoom, please type it in the chat box. And now if we could engage in just a small silent meditation. People's people are a generous people. This is the moment to keep being generous. The offering will now be received. Would you please join me in giving thanks for all that sustains us? From the countless gifts we each have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance, we bring these small portions to share in the which none of us can accomplish alone. I'll get you some.
This is a reading from the Big Bang to God by Lloyd Gearing. Is that better? This is a reading from the Big Bang to God by Lloyd Gearing. If we reflect on this emergence of human consciousness within the context of the long story of evolution, we should find it as awe-inspiring and groundbreaking as the emergence of life itself some 4 billion years ago. It is truly mind-blowing to realize that the self-evolving universe, in spite of taking eons to achieve it, has brought forth a creature through whom it can now look at itself and ask questions about how it all began. The time when the cosmos first thought about itself through us was surely a moment of emerging self-consciousness par excellence. Because language enabled humans to share their thoughts and eventually bounce their thoughts off one another, human thought began to create a new kind of world. Indeed, this new world of thought began to expand outwards, like the way the physical universe expanded from the Big Bang. And even though it's not physical, This world of thought is just as real as the physical universe. Thus, the advent of language may be said to have initiated another kind of evolution, the evolution of the human thought world. I'm sorry, I have a little shaky arm here. I want to thank David and Maggie Wilson for their reflection on June 29th. They provided some scientific background for what I'm going to say today, along with their inspiring thoughts. I gave this talk that I'm about to give at our former church in East Lansing. Edgewood United Church, a progressive United Church of Christ congregation. So I make references to Edgewood to illustrate some of my ideas. That will also give you some insight into why we have felt so at home here at Peoples. In the midst of my career as a science educator, I revisited a sense of calling that I had had many times earlier in my life to the ministry. And a major part of the ministry that I had thought about was the articulation of a theology that my scientifically oriented friends would find meaningful, and myself as well. A quest that I had pursued since at least from high school. I ultimately chose to continue my career in education to seek ways to make things better for teachers and children in school. A few years ago, I was inspired as I listened to a lecture series from the Great Courses catalog called Big History, the scientific highlights from the Big Bang to modern times. This renewed my sense of calling for a more meaningful theology and led me to a story I call participatory creation. I will share some of that story with you today and some of what it means to me. In the modern theory of the Earth's origin, the Big Bang, some 14 billion years ago, gave birth to our universe in the form of a soup of tiny particles. These particles combined to form simple atoms, and the atoms combined to form stars that gave off enormous amounts of energy. Stars form galaxies, and the interstellar debris of collapsing stars form planets and planetary systems. Collapsing stars also gave birth to atoms of carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. The very atoms that constitute you and I. Look at or feel of your hands, the palm, the fingers. Just think, the atoms that make up your hand were formed billions of years ago in collapsing stars. We are indeed made of stardust. The universe itself seems imbued with the power to create. Collapsing stars help form planets. The evolution of life began with chemical compounds, some of which began to replicate themselves. As such structures increased in complexity, simple life forms emerged with amazing capabilities. The plants produced oxygen and a simple sugar. That simple sugar supported and still supports the lives of almost all organisms that have evolved, including us humans. Even the rocks create, participating in the leveling of mountains, in the carving of valleys, as small grains are carried along by flowing water. Herds of buffalo participated in participated in creation, enhancing the plains with their fertilization and the impact of their hooves on the soil. We are products of creation, but we also participate in creation, whether we realize it or not. Humans have built grand structures. Scholars have produced vast stores of knowledge. We create friendships, relationships that are nourished or crippled with each interaction. When I think about what I have created, foremost is the blended family that Jackie and I have fostered with our 4 children and 7 grandchildren. I think of my research, my work with teachers, and what they may have created with their students. I think of the beautiful building we have at Edgewood with its graceful lines and symbolism. I think of the policies and programs we have created and the covenants we have made. Beyond the words, our actions have impacted many in our congregation and beyond. I'm grateful for the creations of the Edgewood founders, Pastor Truman Morrison, and all those whose creations make our own creations possible. Think for a moment about something that you have created. What impact do you think that creation has had on others? I see each human as a creation most marvelous. Each and every human being. Do you recognize that in yourself? You are a creation most wondrous. Each family where loving parents strive to provide for cherished children is a wondrous creation and an ongoing process of creating. The rich variety of other creatures and their amazing interconnections with each other and with us, and the majestic beauty of our environment are not only wondrous to behold, but essential for survival. In my experience, the greatest gift of participatory creation is love. Love echoes through my descriptions of the wonders of creation. Jesus' call to love has inspired my faith. An early awareness of this came from a Methodist Youth Fellowship district gathering. Honoring the tradition of the Last Supper, we took communion in groups of 12. As I reflected on that experience on the way home, I felt the overflowing love of Jesus for his disciples. There was something important there for me. The centrality of love in my life was brought home to me in a most unexpected way 20 years ago. I was standing on my house lower roof there, cleaning leaves from the gutters on the upper roof. As I stepped along sideways, I suddenly realized my left foot was no longer on the roof, but out in thin air. As I began spiraling down, I was aware that I might well be about to die. I felt no fear. I felt the love for and from my family. That was enough. And though injured, I survived. Love was further brought home to me as I began recovering in the hospital. In the words from a poem I wrote about that experience, through the haze of the next few days, the presence and touch of my family and the faces, students, faculty colleagues, neighbors, friends from church, face after face, buoyed me up on a sea of love, and I felt blessed. That hand doesn't shake so much. What lies behind this marvel of participatory creation? Indeed, is there any behind? I could call it God, but there are so many connotations of that term that I don't wish to imply. I will settle for the great mystery. We are both products of and participants in creation as a part of this great mystery. I stand in grateful awe of what we have been given. I'm grateful for all of creation and for all those whose lives created and continue to create opportunities for me. In gratitude, I make the following affirmations. The gifts and opportunities provided through the great mystery of creation are enough. I need not ask for more. Love is central to fulfilling the potential of these gifts, both individually and collectively. I sense this as my Christian affirmation. Creation as both product and process is, I believe, undeniable. We humans are, as far as we know, the only organisms that can reflect on our creation and plans for what we might create. This singular ability then leads us to a profound question. What shall we create? We face this question, the systemic question, as individuals, as families, as informal and formal organizations, and as governments at all levels. As individuals, we make choices in everyday interactions with others. How do I react when I feel criticized by someone for something I've done or said? Do I react in anger, or do I take a deep breath and reflect before responding with empathy? Such choices over time shape our relationships in positive or negative directions. I might have to choose between a career with more security or one for which I sense a deeper calling. As a congregation, we face choices about how, or even whether, to live out our covenant for peace and justice. As a nation, we confront perplexing choices in the face of the existential threats of systemic racism and climate change, among others. As Moses in the book of Deuteronomy admonished the people of Israel to choose life over death and blessing over curse, we face choices great and small as we participate in creation. What guidance do we have for the momentous choices we must inevitably make? I know no better guide than Jesus' great commandments in the Gospel of Mark. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. To love all the world's people with all my heart, and with all my soul, with all my mind, and with all my strength is the closest I can come to loving God. And so, caring for each other and the environment that sustains and inspires us is our essential task. We are both products of and participants in the great mystery of creation. So, I ask you today, what shall we create? Amen. Thank you. To expand on this for our discussion, I suggest the following questions. Where do you see a need for some new creation? What might be required to accomplish that creation? And what role might you and or People's Church play in that creation? Now, we have some guidelines for our discussion. Please speak the truth as you understand it. Please do not comment on others' comments until everyone has had a chance to do initial sharing. And we suggest that we have groups of maybe 3 or 4 so that you have time to share and maybe even get to the 3 questions. So, shall we gather round in groups of 3 or 4 and take a whack at the questions?
Okay, if people could begin to just wrap up your discussions, and we'll get back to a group. Okay, if we could get back into our wonderful large community group. And we're going to enjoy Tim Kiefer leading us in song once again.
So please rise in body or spirit and join Julie, Jennifer, and me in singing Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, our faith a quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky, children ask the reasons why. In our lives the answer answers show, and follow, they learn and grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between to follow a star, to build a dream. Touch the earth, reach the sky, hug the laughter, feel the cry. May we see where we can give, for this is what it means to live. Touch the earth, reach the sky, soar with courage ever high. Spirits joining as we fly, to touch the earth, to reach the sky.
Now go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage, prove all things, and hold fast to that which is good. Blessed be.